Welcome to Cool Game Collectibles. Got a special guest today. Casual Nerve Problems, man. First off, great to have you here. Greatly appreciate you joining us, man. Uh, you don't know or may not know, but I watched your live, several times, and even watched your room tours.
Yeah.
I've seen some of the transitions in the room, so uh, I'm a fan, bro. I'm a fan.
Oh
I
man,
have
I'm
to
a big
say,
fan of you guys. Like you and Black Ice, man, it's awesome. Like,
thank
I
you.
I don't
Thank
know, I don't know what like. I still don't know understand why people watch us all the time. I think it's because like
you.
everyone's just loud as crap and everyone's just laughing all the time. So it's fun, man. Like it's. I'm sure you have fun with Black Ice. You know, just you two so far, but it's gonna grow a lot. It's
Yeah,
gonna be a ton
yeah,
of fun later on.
yeah, man, and it is. I think it was motivating seeing you and several other people go live, and I mean, it started with just the unboxing stuff and kind of showing off the collection a little bit. I'm still pretty new to collecting in general,
Mhm.
but seeing other people go live, man, and just the fun talking about what we're so passionate about, and for myself, man, I'm such a student of it. I feel like I've learned so much just within this short span of time. So thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate it, man.
There's new collectors, OG collectors, old collectors, like everywhere. Everyone's still learning, man. No one has the secret yet, you know?
Yeah,
No one knows the secret.
cool. So our theme or topic today is centered around statue scales, right? And the best statue scale is. I've heard several debates over which scale is the best, which scales people prefer. Um, I've seen your collection transition, right? So I guess before we get into actually answering that question, do you want to just take a minute and tell us about your collection? I guess from where you started and then where you are now.
So I collected Bowens from the very beginning. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard of Bowens before.
No, I thought it
Really?
was like a mini bus. Honestly, I didn't know like what the technical term was for them.
Well, the brand is called Bowen. The
Okay,
maker was Randy Bowen, and from there,
okay,
like he basically sculpted and made a ton of Marvel characters. But I started off with these guys. Like they're called Bowens. Bowen Designs is what they're really called. It's just like
okay.
Sideshow Collectibles, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
these guys were way before. I think they were way before Sideshow. But yeah, I started off with these little guys. These are 1/6 scale. Some people would say they're 1/7 scale,
Hmm.
but they're mid in the middle range. But I started with these. Then I got caught by the bug of the quarter scale stuff. Like
Hmm.
that that stuff gets wild, man, because there's a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
And sideshows, affordable here and there, depending like where you find the deals.
yeah.
Yeah, but then like I got into Hot Toys. I'm still into Hot Toys. I got a lot of Star Wars stuff or Mandalorian stuff. But then I got these big boys back here. They're 1/3 scale, and yeah, these. No one tells you this. Like no one ever tells you
Yeah.
this. Each statue comes with two boxes, and they're big boxes, man. They're like they. I have a room dedicated to boxes now, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But best scale, it depends like what's your preference and all that stuff. I still have like 1/6 quarter and 1/3 behind me. Like I
Oh,
still collect a little bit of everything. It's fun though, man. Like collect what you like and everything like that. But
yeah.
also collect I like collecting what I really enjoy. Like all of these, I don't think I'll be selling anytime soon. But we all say that, right?
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah. But
Yeah. There's some stuff I thought I would never sell. And then just you get kind of get tired of it. I know sometimes people sell things in order to get other things. I haven't really run into that just yet. It's more of I just get tired of looking at it or I don't know how to display it in a different way. So at that point I just feel like, you know what, let's just switch it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've gone through that a lot. I used to have like a whole X Men line. I used to have a whole
mhm.
DC line, Rogues line. I used to have a bunch of Justice League characters. I had a wall dedicated to that stuff, all quarter scale.
Yeah.
and you think you're happy, you know, and everything. You're like, but then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, something else catches your eye. You're like, God, man, like, I gotta
So
start moving this stuff.
that's actually one of the questions I have for you.
Hmm.
What leads you to transitioning or changing, either changing scale or just changing pieces out? What happens that leads you to starting to make changes in your collection?
Yeah, for me, it's probably different from like everyone is different, right? But like for me, it was a couple of times I've changed my collection around. But like one of the reasons was like you said earlier, like I was getting bored of it. You know, like I started looking at them, I was like that shelf is done, that line is done.
Yeah.
I kind of want to start getting into like X-Men. So I was like, in order to get these guys, I don't have the biggest place or whatever, but this is like a small bedroom, and I don't want to expand beyond this. So I was like, I got to move these guys, you know. But I don't know. It comes from like I don't know like best way to put it, but sometimes you just get bored of it, you know. Like you find out new pieces, like the next generation, basically sometimes,
Yeah.
or even like the next line. You know, the next line needs to be completed. So it's a little bit of everything, to be honest. I'm not a big fan of like keep like I didn't ever want to keep it, you know, put it in
Mm.
boxes and leave them in another room and then enjoy them later on,
Yeah.
because like it's just gonna be sitting there. Like I don't like the idea of that. But I don't know,
You
man.
go
Like
more with if you have it displayed.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's some collectors I know that they don't mind that. Like keep collecting, like put it like
Mhm.
don't doesn't matter, keep them in boxes and everything like that. But like I
Yeah.
said, everyone's different, man. Like it's
I think that would drive me crazy, man. Just knowing that it's there, but not having it up. Like a part of the excitement for me is walking into the room and seeing them on display,
mm,
right? And
you know,
in a way, I mean that's the motivation, right? That, like I was saying earlier, seeing your collection, seeing other collectors display their collection motivated me to want to not only collect but to want to show the unboxings, to just get more involved in the hobby itself,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Like
So,
I honestly like watching people's collections because some stuff that they have, like either I can't afford it or like I cannot collect it because it's like one to one scale. But
yeah,
I enjoy it through them, you know. Like we have
yeah,
this guy on our panel sometimes. His name is Rashid, and he
mhm.
has like a 1-to-1 Boba Fett, and he has it right behind him. You know, it's like life size,
That's
and
crazy.
I just look at it. I'm like, dang man, that's badass, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But see, I enjoy it through him because it's right behind him, and he, you know, jokes around about it here and there.
yeah.
But having that behind me, hell no.
But
That's
see,
like,
that it's the same thing because as I'm looking at your collection, like I've said and I've told Black Ice multiple times, I just don't know if I could go 1/3.
mhm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
when I saw the majority of your collection looks like it's now 1/3, I was like, wow, man, he made a big leap. And I don't know if you had, 1/3s before. I just remember the room with multiple quarter scales.
yeah.
So when I saw the 1/3s, I was like, oh man, that's
Yeah.
that's a big leap.
It's only four of them too, man. They take up so much space, man. It's only
Yeah.
like where the four would go. Like I would
Mhm.
say 8 scale statues would go there,
Man.
but now I got just half of that. You know, it's 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 tough, man. It's tough.
So you said you still have quarter scales though,
Hmm.
right? So um, you're still open to quarter scales.
Oh yeah,
You're
yeah.
not
Like
just like I know I've heard a couple of like Batman collector. Um, well, I think he's still doing quarter scale,
mhm.
but I think the majority of his collection is more now towards 1/3. Jim Mint for sure is more like 1/3.
Yeah,
That kind of, I don't want to say scare me, but in a way intimidated because it was like, whoa, hold on. So for a minute, quarter scale was like the end all be all, right? I want to come back to that too, with that being like the most popular scale.
mhm.
But then there was there is even right now this transition of going into 1/3. I'm like, whoa, hold on, don't everybody don't go to 1/3 because I don't know if I'm going to 1/3 with everybody.
Yeah, that's interesting because I've been on YouTube for like almost like 2 3 years now, and I've
Yeah.
been wondering about that. Like, how much does influence carry on to new collectors? You know, does it
Hmm.
affect them like crazy? And it sounds like you still have your ground rules, but it does like influencers just do kind of like you kind of want
Yeah.
to follow them, you know, or be in the same club as them, right? Kind of sounds
True,
like.
true. That so when I came in, like you said, it's interesting that you said that ground rules because I knew one of my family members was collecting and kind of introducing me to collecting, and I would ask so many questions around things, right? And he was like, "There's no rules to it. You get what you like, right?" And I think that thing, you get what you like, and you get what you can afford, right? You don't go beyond your budget. You try to set
Mhm.
a budget and you stay within your budget and you get what you like, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So I mean, I guess that being like the main rules, but I would ask stuff like, well, if everybody else is collecting quarter scale, is my collection less appealing because it's 1/10 or because it's 1/8? Or at one point I was even considering action figures, and the way he kind of explained it was like, I guess there's steps, right? Like once you go on quarter scale, you don't necessarily go backwards. Like the norm is to go forward, right? Which is like a larger scale.
Mhm.
So it's just that was interesting.
So like it's interesting that you brought that up too because we have an episode on Mondays where I try to mix up. We have CC who collects art prints. We have John, the everyday collector that collects 1/3, a little bit of everything, right? And
Yeah,
then we got Sean that collects 1/12 stuff,
nice.
basically smaller scale stuff.
Yeah,
But like honestly, for like what I think is like you surround yourself by I surround myself by with everyone because I don't want to lose out, you know? Like I'd
yeah,
rather have true friends than people that just want to collect one scale and they're only friends with me for collecting that scale, right? Like I
yeah,
don't want that. Like I want like everyone to be in the same circle. I at least try to be in the same circle.
yeah.
But like it's tough, man. Like I'm telling you, like being like collecting for a long time now or for like 3 years or whatever, it's
Mm.
I still don't know. I don't know the rules, man.
Oh, yeah. That's cool
Yeah.
though. I mean, that's good to know. When I first came in, I just kind of jumped in, and I really liked the Ninja Turtles line by PCS. They had the animated line, the quarter scales.
Hmm.
I jumped in, and that was no, sorry, Bumblebee premium format by Sideshow.
Yeah.
That was my first statue, and I thought I was gonna go down that entire line because I have this thing about lines, right? Trying to collect the line,
Yeah, we all do, man.
but
Yeah.
and I went with the turtles, and then at a certain point, I just felt like that scale was just too big. Like I wanted to go with either 1/8 or quarter scale, 1/10, and I got hip to Iron Studios and kind of fell in love with the 1/10. But as time is passing, now I'm starting to get to a point where I want more detail. And that's what kind of led me to the 1/6 by Twitter Head,
Hmm.
and I'm starting to look at quarter scales, thinking about some 1/3. So uh, it's just interesting how I started at the quarter scale, went back to 1/10, and then now kind of making my way back up. So
Yeah.
I
Everyone does
agree
that.
when you
Yeah.
say don't get bound to one scale. That
Hmm.
I thought I was going to only collect 1/10 forever,
Yeah.
but I'm happy that I got out of that mindset. There's too many good pieces out there, man, to add to your collection to be bound to one scale.
Oh yeah, yeah, by far. Also, this is like the biggest enemy for all of us is space, right? So you
Yeah,
gotta think long term too, man. Because like, I was in that whole bind where I was like, I want everything, man. I started collecting all of X Men and all that, and I was like, God, like, it looks too cluttered now. It doesn't look like a freaking. It looks like a hoarder, you know. It's just like
yeah,
I don't know. Some people like collecting like that, but like when I come in this room, I'm just like I want to enjoy. You know, I don't want to like scatter like around and look for that one statue that I like and it get
Yeah,
lost or whatever. But yeah, man, like honestly, everyone's run through what you've run through, and they're still running through it. You know, people like want to jump scales, but then quarter scale does have a lot more characters, a lot more like other IPs too. So
yeah,
third scale is kind of tough because they're also scaling back because they're not releasing a lot of one thirds anymore. So there's that, right?
right, right. Yep.
Yeah. So
It's funny that you brought up the hoarding situation too, because that's something Black Ice and I were just talking about. The like the last topic on the show was just too many. Is there ever too many? Can you have too many? And I mean, through conversation, we kind of came to a consensus of as long as you can organize it, display it in a neat or organized fashion to where it doesn't just look cluttered, right? Because I mean, the display is a big deal. Uh,
yeah,
One of the things that caught my attention, or catches my attention from collectors, is how well they display the collection. So, I mean, you could have a million statues in your collection, but if we can't see them, it doesn't matter, right? If they block one another, like honestly, that top shelf, and those are just the 1/10s, right? That top shelf is driving me crazy
but
because every statue is not clearly visible.
you creating a scene there looks like a diorama or something. Looks like it looks good, but yeah, but in your mind, in your head, I'm sure it's just like too cluttered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So what I went with, like I said, I started with trying to collect lines, and I still kind of try to finish the line. But when it came to the Avengers, I'm a huge fan of Avengers, but certain statues didn't do it for me. So what I ended up doing is just picking the best version or the best statue of each character that I really liked, and I just went with that and kind of created this collage.
yeah,
But I mean, from different movies, it's just a mixture.
yeah. That's fine, man.
Yeah,
Like I think I did the same thing with X-Men. You know, I started collecting only because X-Men is unlimited, man. There's like a bunch of mutants. There's a bunch of X-Force. There's
yeah,
different like it's a ton of X-Men. So I was like, I gotta set that rule for myself and just collect the ones I know, the ones I love, and it worked out for a little bit. But then the more you get intertwined with other YouTubers or other collectors, it's
yeah,
like ideas start floating around too much. You know?
yeah, yeah. True. And the more that I talk with other collectors, it's a good thing. But at the same time, I kind of got away from, like you said, building a scene or trying to complete a line. I'm starting to slowly get away from that and just buy what I like, right? Or um, go with like a one off, right? Like certain pieces, I like that piece, and I'll get that one no matter what scale it's in, and then that's it. For example, that Batman Tactical, right? I don't have any other quarter scales right now, but that's one that I'm really leaning towards. Now, if I get it, I might not get another quarter scale for a minute because the price tag on it is so high, right?
Are you gonna go for the peasant version? Are you gonna go for the Bugatti version? Are you gonna go for the which version are you gonna go for?
Well, hold on, what? So you said the peasant version?
So they
So
call
that's the economy.
that's the economy. We call it the
What's the
peasant version.
Bugatti?
The
What?
Bugatti is like the $2,700 one with like it's the throne and it has the bat cave behind it.
Not the no, so not the Bugatti. I will go
Not
with
the
the
Bugatti,
deluxe. So what's
the
the deluxe?
deluxe.
Like a Mercedes
Du-
600?
we haven't come up with a name for that one yet, but yeah, we'll just call it deluxe. It's Bugatti or freaking peasant version. So you're gonna go for the
Yeah. So
deluxe.
I find a middle ground.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
But again, I don't know, man. Being just a fan of it, it's hard to pass it up. But at the
Mhm.
same time, being realistic, like man, that's a hefty price tag too. And a part of the reason I started collecting the 1/10s and I got away from the quarter scale was because I like so much, and being so new to it, I just wanted so many different things, and the only way to really be able to get everything I wanted was to go to like a 1/10 scale, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Of
When
course.
it
Yeah. It's
because I just
smart.
wanted characters. It was like, oh, I like that character. I want that statue. I want this statue. I want that statue. Um, with that, man, I don't know. It changed it. It would change things, and yeah, I like Batman, but then that's it, right? There's
Yeah.
no, and I saw that Prime One
There's my Batman right there.
part three they're doing the Superman, right? That's supposed to be a companion piece.
The DK3 is my Batman. Have you seen that one before?
Mm-hmm.
That guy's a beast,
Yep.
man.
Yep. It is
Yeah. Sorry, what were you
awesome
saying?
piece. Awesome piece. That oh no, just that that's kind of the opposite of why I went from quarter scale to 1/10. It was to be able to buy more.
Yeah.
Now I'm in a situation where it's, well, I might go up and buy that one because that one piece is just so good. It kind of trumps having 10 1/10 scales.
Yeah, like I could see that. Are you gonna go because like no one ever buys one and just it goes away, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
The funny thing about Prime One is like they displayed a ton of quarter scale throne pieces. So I don't know if you're gonna get the itch to go get more throne pieces from Prime One, or if they got the Superman on throne. I was like, wow, that looks amazing.
It is. I think for me, I never saw Superman on throne,
Mm,
so I think that piece wouldn't be as intriguing to me. I
yeah,
think it's a nice. I mean, it's a nice statue, but I don't think I would be like inclined to get it. Just I like Superman flying.
yeah. Well,
There's something about Superman flying. You know what I mean? It's just
mm,
uh, which the one you have. I like that Superman.
yeah,
To me, that's one of the best Supermans made. That
yep,
one, it's the one where he's holding Brainiac's head.
yeah.
I
Sideshow
think
one.
that one is awesome.
Mm.
And then I like the Twitter head one. I really like the Twitter head.
Yeah, we got guy Eddie Mendez. He loves that Superman, the one that you have behind you,
Yeah,
and he swears by it. But
yeah,
man,
it's good, man. One of the things I don't like is they made so many of the collector edition. I think it's 2,500 or something like that, but they only
yep,
did 500 of the exclusive. So
yeah.
I was happy I was able to get the exclusive, but man, it would be nice if they would lower those edition sizes a bit.
So saying that, like 1/10 Iron Studios, they don't have edition sizes. So does that
Right.
bother you at all? Edition size or?
Not knowing, yes,
Mhm.
but they tend to sell out somehow, and that's what I'm always curious about, right? How many are they actually making? And I mean, the majority of them sell out. There are some like the Black Widow. That piece just sat.
Yeah,
I mean, really, like a year and a half. And I think probably because the movie, some people, I don't know, some people didn't like certain things about the movie. I know comic book fans weren't big fans of the Taskmaster. The Taskmaster wasn't really portrayed the same way as he was in the comics, right? It ended up
mm.
being is it Dracov's daughter?
Yeah, 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 yep, yep. The
So
Rushing.
that kind of when you change the story, that can get weird for people. That's not what they know. So yeah, but that one I just kind of, I don't know. I just kind of, I don't want to say took a loss on it, but I was a little let down that more people didn't buy it. And I do prefer for my statues to sell out. I just feel like there's a value when they sell out. You know.
So, like, when you collect, like, I don't know if it's just about just this one piece, this Black Widow piece, but do you collect
Mhm.
more for, like, the rarity, or do you collect more because, like, you have a connection to that character or whatever?
The character.
The
It's the
character?
character. Yeah.
Or it's a little
If I
mix or
grew
something?
up watching that character or liking that character,
Mm.
That's what the whole X-Men line was about, and that's why I only have those seven. Those seven are like the main X-Men people to me.
Oh, okay.
But if I were to go even further, I would want Nightcrawler. I would want Magneto, Sabretooth, probably Iceman. Like that, there's still some, but the main, like I made it a point to make sure I had these because those are the people I grew up watching.
Yeah.
And between Gambit and Wolverine, I mean, I don't know who's my favorite, but either Gambit or Wolverine.
Yeah.
But like back to your question, yeah, man, there are times where I do feel like um, I would I would prefer for it to be both a character that I really like and it's a very rare piece. I mean, I would prefer it to be both, but that's a struggle.
Yeah.
That's a struggle. And I'll be honest with you, there's the other tweeted head pieces, right? I stalled because I haven't seen those move quicker. Like honestly, I wasn't crazy about the Flash from the beginning. Just the pose wasn't just wasn't the best pose to me. I think the statue itself is very clean, but the pose just wasn't great. Now
Yeah.
I kind of prefer Flash running, right? Which is
Yeah.
exactly why they didn't make him run because everybody else made him run. So like okay, I do like the John Stewart, but at the same time, I'm looking at it's only 900 pieces total, and they haven't hit a point of low stock or close to being sold out. So I just wonder, what is it about those statues that people aren't buying them, and is it just the state of collecting right now? Because I know a lot of people have kind of slowed up, or um, they kind of limit what they get, or they move from uh, third scale to quarter scale. So they may even be going from quarter scale to 1/10. I know some people who are doing the same thing. So it just, I mean, I don't know, and I think things are in such a in such an awkward place right now where I was so heavily influenced and driven by certain things. Right now, for a new collector, to be honest, there's a bit of a state of confusion,
Yeah.
or just well, let me just wait and see and see how things go. Because the last thing you want, or for me, having what you just said, do you collect for rarity? I want to because I want my collection to really have a value to it, right?
Mm.
I don't want to be in a situation where I buy and um, if any situation comes up and I need to sell it, I have to take a loss on it. I will at least want to be able to get my money back for it, right? I mean, I look at this as fine art, right? Um, I hold these in high regard. These are just like a painting, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Art.
that painting doesn't depreciate, I don't want my fine art to depreciate either, you
Mm.
know? So it's tough, man. It really is. It's tough.
No, it's true too because these Bowens are like this one right here is was made 2002, and this thing.
Okay.
How much would you pay for something like this? This is old school stuff.
Well, you said it's 1/6. And
One
what's interesting
six.
to me is like it doesn't look like a 1/6 because that Superman is a 1/6.
Mm. Yeah.
So I mean, I guess because it's torso up, maybe.
Yeah. It's just a bust basically.
Uh, I mean, 150, 200.
Yeah, see that's crazy. So this retained, I think when it came out, I think it was 80 to $100, but this
Okay.
went up in price, which is crazy. For being at like what did I say? 2002, it's like what,
Yeah.
21 years old. It's
Yeah.
still like holding its price, man. So time will also tell like your 1/10 scale stuff if
Yeah.
it's like, in time, like that Black Widow, it's going to eventually sell out, right?
Yeah.
And like 5 years down the road, maybe it goes up in price, maybe it doesn't, but
Yeah.
it's tough, man. Like, I think the popularity too affects Tweeterhead a lot because no one talks about the John Stewart. Like, I love that John Stewart, but it's not. not many collectors are talking about it, so it's like getting lost in the webs while
Yeah.
everything else is like Prime One's killing everything, Sideshow's killing
Yeah.
everything. It's just getting lost. I feel like that is in a sort of way our fault and
Mm.
also the company's fault for not promoting or marketing as much as the other companies.
True. That's
Yeah.
true.
But there's a lot now compared to what 10 years ago. There was only Sideshow, Prime
Yeah.
One probably, and now there's like what 10 different companies doing a
Oh,
lot of
so
stuff
many
now.
companies, Queen
Yeah,
Studios and
yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, there's so many. And I think that is a part of it too. There's so many options now, right? To
Mm,
where it's easy to pass up.
yeah,
For example, I was just talking about Twitter Head having the Wonder Woman, which I think is a awesome piece, right? But Sideshow announced
yeah,
that they're gonna have one that comes out next summer, right? To
yeah,
me, that was too close for two companies that work so close together. But it makes it easier for a collector to say, "Oh, I'll pass on that one because I'll get this one."
yeah. Real easy.
Just
Yeah.
kind of oversaturating the market.
Mm.
I hear a lot of people talk about that, the oversaturation of certain characters.
I was actually on the boat probably like a year ago where I was saying like more companies the better for all of us, you know? But
Mhm.
now it's like it's not coming to fruition. It's actually the opposite, you know? It's like now there's too much, you know? Like
Yeah,
where it's too hard to make that decision. And then you don't want to make the wrong decision, right? You buy one and then freaking XM Studios comes out with another Wonder Woman.
that's
You're like,
right.
oh
That
man, I
that you
just,
feel is even better.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's tough too, man.
See, like
Then, yeah.
that Two Face is an interesting one because
Mm.
nobody made a Two Face, right? Tweeter had finally made the Two Face. Honestly, I'm kind of waiting to see if, for example, XM, because they tend to. I'm not saying XM copies,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I do think they lead in a lot of areas as well. But when certain companies come out with something, XM will come out with their version of it.
Mm.
So if anybody was gonna do it, I could see XM coming out with the Two Face.
And that's the biggest thing too. Like that, I really don't mind if like XM copies or follows like that. They're
Yeah,
gonna see what Sideshow puts out, and they're like, "Oh crap, we gotta get to the freaking chalkboard or whatever to the boards and do
yeah,
something better." And like they
yeah,
always do, they always do,
yeah,
or
yeah.
for the most part they do. But yeah, it's tough, man.
And it's good. I mean, it's competition amongst the companies themselves, right?
Mm,
So it pushes them to make the best quality piece they can make, the best design you can make. And it's funny you said that a year ago you were on board with more companies
yeah,
because but I mean in a way that will push the competition, right? Which could have been really good. In some ways, I still think it's good because you can't slack
yeah,
because the next company will come in and take the spot of that statue. So
yeah.
you got to
It,
come
it's
with it.
it's crazy because like we're in like this whole generation where like iPhones come out every year. I mean, like what's
Hmm.
wrong with your old iPhone? You know, I
Right.
nothing's wrong with it, but I want the new one. You know, I want
Yeah.
like next generation. Now
Yeah.
they're cutting it down to like 8 to 9 months. It's like man, like statue companies they got to keep pumping them out, you know, in order to
Yeah.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks, but that's how it is nowadays.
That's true. So we had a comment actually, and I'm sorry, DBZ Mini. So he said 1/6 scale is the best scale. Appreciate you joining us. So that's interesting. The 1/6, right? So these 1/6 scales from Tweeterhead, I think, are a little bit different from XM's 1/6. I've heard a couple other people say that these are more like 1/5.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I don't own and I haven't owned any XM to be able to compare it. So um, that's interesting to me though, and I want to. I'm really curious. I almost bought an XM piece just to try to
yeah.
compare it and see what's the difference in the two.
It happens between companies too because I had Sideshow Green Lantern quarter scale, but then I had
Mhm.
the Prime One quarter scale Green Lantern. He was a little bit bigger than the Sideshow one. I don't know
Okay.
which one was true to scale because they were
Mhm.
so close to like each other, but different companies make their own scales sometimes, so it varies, man.
So with that, were you pairing those, or were they just like separate pieces that weren't being displayed next to each other?
There. I got a John Stewart one, and I got the what's his name, the other guy, the main one,
Oh,
Carl.
gotcha. The regular Green Lantern.
Yeah, yeah, that one, that one. So I
So
had
did
put
that bother you?
a little bit. I didn't pair them next to each other because I
Okay.
noticed, and if I notice, like it bothers me. Like I
Yeah.
don't care what anybody thinks. Like it
Yeah.
bothers me. So I
Yeah.
separated them and put them like on the opposite side of the shelf.
Yeah.
That helped, but like knowing, like it kind of did bother me.
Okay. I think that would have bothered me too, and that's why I hesitated. And the reason I'm asking about that is I'm not crazy about their pose, right? From
Mm,
Tweeterhead with that the flash they did. So I thought about getting the XM flash where he has I don't know what the move is called or the power is called, where he had his arm is extended and that's the swirl going around.
yeah,
I thought about getting that one. But if the scales are off, it's just not going to display right. So that again, that's why I hesitated, right? And that's also where like that state of confusion comes in. It's like, okay, well, what do I do? I'm not
yeah.
crazy about the pose on one, but I don't want to display two statues that are not the same scale.
I hear
You
that.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's the best part though about like being part of these communities or like looking at all these YouTubes is like
yeah,
people sometimes they mix them up and then you could see it or they've seen it before and they could tell you straight up how they pair or whatever.
yeah,
So
yes, sir.
yeah.
DBZ Mini also said I purchased the John Stewart from Tweeterhead as my first statue. I've been collecting for a while, but new to this he statue game,
The statue game, I
new
think
to the statue game.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm on the fence. I really do. I really do like it. Uh, no other companies have made a John Stewart other than the quarter scale or the premium format from Sideshow.
Hmm.
So I think there is still that rarity that you talked about earlier. So I'm leaning more towards getting it. Man, I've had it in the cart so many times and
Yeah.
just didn't press buy. You know,
How do you feel about buying secondhand like from another collector? How do you feel about that?
uh, good actually. If the collector takes care of the statue, right?
Hmm.
I know how I take care of them. I know how I box them up and ship them. I make sure that the person buying them they
Yeah.
get a quality piece, right? I mean, and just doing right by people.
Hmm.
So the majority of my Avengers collection, the majority of my whole Iron Studios collection was like through eBay
Yeah.
because I came in so late. I was like at the tail end of the end game line. So I had to kind of backtrack. And even for some of the X-Men stuff, I think Wolverine and Cyclops, I ended up getting secondhand. And I think the others and Rogue as well. And Beast. Yeah, almost all of my X-Men
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm fine with it. Um, again, I hope that they took care of it. That's all. You know, no
Mhm.
broken pieces or nothing chipped on it. And with that, sometimes you do have to overpay a little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're not paying retail, which is unfortunate, but I also understand.
Uh, in the 1/10 world, like right now, 1/4 and 1/3 are getting a huge hit right now from like what's going on in the economy.
Yes.
Like a lot of people are selling off their collections, or
Hmm.
you're not paying, or you're not selling at what you paid for. Is the
Yes.
1/10 world and 1/6 world is that getting hit too, in your eyes?
Yes,
Oh,
I
really?
would say yeah. Maybe not 1/6 so much, but definitely the 1/10. The only no, I haven't sold any statues in 1/6. 1/10, I do have a few up for sale now, and I mean people are offering like well below. So for the Thor in game piece,
Mhm.
somebody offered like $80. Like, no, I can't accept $80 for a piece that retailed at like 160.
Oh wow, so they want half
You
off.
know, yeah,
Yeah,
half,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. They're getting the same thing on the quarter scale stuff, man. People are offering like half the price, man, and people sometimes sell it, which is insane. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
But
people got
it does make it a little more difficult too when the company does the same thing.
yeah.
Black Ice and I just talked about Iron Studios did a huge up to 80% off, right? So there were
Yeah.
some statues, man, that sold for $30,
Yeah.
and
I saw that video of you guys. I was like, man, I gotta buy a bunch of gifts now. So yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's tough and a little bit discouraging for a new collector. I mean, I'm what 2 years in, but I still consider myself new.
Hmm.
Um, because I haven't seen this wave, right? It feels like a decline where everybody everybody's shifting or moving, either decreasing their collection, selling stuff off, or companies are starting to stop making certain things. Like I was very discouraged when I heard some companies are going to scale back on superheroes. Like that's the reason why I got into collecting, because I love superheroes, right? That's what intrigued me the most about them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, anime is cool. I mean, I'm not heavily into anime. I love Dragon Ball Z. I grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, but outside of that, I don't know a whole lot about other anime, to be honest.
Hmm.
So if everything is going towards anime, I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do in regards to collecting.
Yeah. I think though, like, I think a lot of people forget, like, it doesn't, for at least for me, like, I don't mind backtracking, especially half this wall is like older pieces, and I backtracked
Hmm.
because I like the older stuff. Some of the older stuff looks better to me, and the
Yeah,
newer stuff is like, it's not a huge step up. So I'm just like, I go back,
yeah,
and I went to collect other ones. But there's nothing wrong with like putting a pause too. Just wait until the next thing comes out that you do like.
yeah.
A big thing too for me, really quick, is like
Mm.
I collected, and I was like, crap, man, my display just sucks. It's just like, so then I took like a big pause, and I was like, I want to clean this up. I want to put some nice, clean this, put the besta stands up, make these
Yeah,
shelves, put these shelves up. That didn't take a day, man. That took like a couple weeks, like almost a month, 2 months, and I was like,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna make this look good.
yeah.
And yeah, it was worth it, man. It made me stop buying statues, and made me like
Mm.
stop looking everywhere until I got it cleaned up. And yeah, I'm glad I took those like couple months off where I was focusing on the display.
That's a good point, because something Black Eyes and I were talking about was the best of. First off, I give him his props all the time. When it comes to the 110 scales, man, that display is amazing, right? What he's done with that. And as a big fan of 110 scales, I feel like I need to display them better. So we've talked about the bestas, and I'm leaning towards getting the bestas myself. Uh, and I mean, specifically for the 110s. And then, I'll probably still keep the shelving for the bigger size statues. So, yeah, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm not.
agree.
I'm not like a interior decorator. I'm not like I'm none of that stuff, right? So I'm
Yeah,
hard. I'm mostly like standard. I like the normal stuff, but
yeah,
like sometimes it's good to copy other ideas,
yeah,
because sometimes those ideas mix up with other ideas that you copy off from
yeah.
and put them to yours. It makes a your idea after that. But
And it's funny you say that, because even while seeing something and knowing how much I like it, I don't want to copy it. I feel like
yeah,
that's their
yeah,
thing. They did it. Even they did it the best. It's awesome. I don't want to copy it though, because that's theirs, right?
mm,
But Yeah, I mean, a good idea is a good idea, man. It really
Yeah,
is.
yeah. Give him all the props and like I forget like
Yeah,
what's that quote they say, but like it's just basically giving yeah their props for like I like what you liked and I'm doing it here and I
yeah,
appreciate what you did and that's it, man.
yeah.
It's like nothing wrong with it. I don't think.
I just never wanted to take away from the originator. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did it.
yeah.
It's authentic. It's yeah. I mean, it's awesome, especially if you copy it and you don't do as good of a job. You know what
Yeah,
I
there's that
mean?
too. Yeah, man. It's hard to mimic sometimes those things. So
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, it's definitely tough. Yeah, like especially with me with lighting, I'm horrible with lighting. I just want
lighting
like
is so
I
hard.
want good LEDs. I want all that stuff. But
Yeah,
then there's this guy that on our groups. His name is
hmm,
Gotham Cinnabites. It's
yeah,
Terry, and man, this guy, when it comes to lighting, everything is spot on. Everything like he does different colors, like all like really dark stuff, but
hmm,
really it pops. You know.
yeah,
I try to mimic it and I can't do it. I don't know what it is, man. I
yeah,
bought everything he bought and I still can't
yeah,
do it. So I was like, F this. Like
yeah.
freaking Terry, you're the master of that's all you, man. So
Yeah,
it's
I
tough,
hadn't
man.
even gotten into. I've seen some stuff that's really really nice, but I have not even tried to go
Yeah.
down that rabbit hole. No,
Yeah.
because that's a lot, and then I know the expense and then the construction of it. Because sometimes you have to manually put the stuff up,
Yeah.
and
Assemble it.
real.
Yeah.
Some people are actually putting holes in the ceiling and actually putting real lighting in. I'm like, man, that's a lot.
But I'm telling you, that's what like when I needed a pause from collecting, that's what I was like, I'm gonna start focusing on my display and
Yeah,
everything you name, that takes a lot of time, a lot of money. So
yeah,
sometimes it's good to press pause, man.
yes sir, yes sir. Let me see. I had some other questions for
You're
you.
good.
So I mean, we kind of talked about this, but what are your thoughts on what are your thoughts on more smaller scale pieces versus one or two larger scale pieces? Now it's interesting because you actually have that situation, right? You said
Hmm.
you had a whole wall of the quarter scale, and now you have four of the one thirds.
Yeah.
Which one do you like better? Do you like having more of the smaller scale or less of the bigger scale?
It's I don't have an answer for that because I'm dealing with it right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's tough because I look at this wall. It's my bad guy wall, my villain wall, right?
yeah,
And I have every character that I consider that it's a badass. Like I got a Dark Phoenix, I got a Thanos on throne, I got a Apocalypse, I got a Juggernaut, an Ultron. I name all these guys. You don't even have to look at it, and they're like, "Damn, badass character, badass for me, badass villain, right?"
yeah,
But then I look behind me. That's Superman, man. I like blows everything out of the water, you know.
yeah,
But it's tough, man. It's and that's why I had to like freaking like make that rule was like if I'm gonna collect quarter scale, I want to make this wall a quarter scale wall, and I'm not gonna go
yeah,
any further, any like more. I'm gonna keep it there, and
yeah.
I'm gonna give the third scales a good amount of space. And I set those like little rules, and it's
Hmm.
hard to keep to them, but because there's so much out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But to be honest, I don't have an answer to that. Like I love both of them. So
yeah. But that's cool. That's cool, and I'm sure other collectors will appreciate that, right? Because sometimes it
mm,
really is hard to choose, and that's why we end up collecting multiple scales. You
yeah,
know, I have some 1/8. So I told you about the quarter scale Ninja Turtles, right?
yeah, yeah,
I love Ninja Turtles. I'm a huge Ninja Turtles fan as well. But since I sold the quarter scale ones, I bought the 1/8 scale from PCS. Now these aren't polystone, the PVC, but I love them, and the detail on them is great. Still the animated ones. I mean, it kind of it scratches the itch when it comes to I have to have something Ninja Turtles in my collection, right? I had to have something, so that did it for me, and I was good.
So really quick, is that your favorite like part? Is that your favorite line in your collection? That the Ninja Turtles that you have right now?
Ninja Turtle, oh, that's a good question. Um,
I guess like what line is your favorite that you have right now?
It's tough to say. It would be between the X-Men and the Ninja Turtles for sure.
And the follow up to that, like when you come into your man cave, your statue room, or your office. This is like my office slash statue room, but
Yeah.
like what grabs your attention out of both of them, like the X Men or the Ninja Turtles? Like what when you come in that room, you're like, oh man, I'm so happy I got that. That looks because when I come in, the Superman grabs my attention every single time. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn.
That Superman does, but also that diorama, the Spider-Man, No Way Home.
Yeah, the three right there. Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
1/10. Yep, with the three Spider-Mans and the Green Goblin.
Mm-hmm.
Those, those really grab my attention. I
That's a
also have the line from the first movie and then the second movie as well.
mm-hmm.
So what I'm hoping is that they make more villains from the No Way Home. If we could get an Electro, if we could get a um, Doctor Ock, if we could get a Doc Ock, man, that would be awesome. So
Yeah,
wishful thinking.
yeah. You gotta be patient, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But those two for sure. But I mean that Superman definitely it's kind of a center point. I thought I would have had more by now. I really thought I would have had more of those. I just Yeah, I just paused. Honestly, I just paused. Um, More recently, I am thinking about selling all of the 1/10 Avengers because I really like the larger scale. All of those characters. The problem is all of those characters aren't available. Like I don't know if they'll ever make a quarter scale Falcon, like original Falcon, not the Captain America Sam Wilson, like just regular Falcon. So or the all quarter scale um War Machine. I don't know if that would happen.
They got him. They got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got him. That
So
guy Rashid I was telling you about, the same
yeah.
guy. He has a War Machine, quarter
Okay.
scale. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
badass,
So
man.
see, I may slowly start to transition out and pick up the quarter scales in each one. Well, for
Yeah,
each character.
got you, got you.
Yeah. Let me see what else, man. What's your thoughts on just where things are in general with collecting right now? Do you
Um,
think things are gonna pick up? Because you've been collecting for a while now, right? Have you ever seen anything like this? And do you think things will get better, or do you really think like statue collecting is kind of phasing out? People are becoming less interested. What are your thoughts on that?
it's tough to say because like I was trying to watch some of your Prime One showcase that you and Black Eyes did,
Yeah,
and then I saw other collectors do their Prime One showcase,
yeah,
and man, like every single one, everyone's happy. Everyone's like, "Oh man, you see that? Oh man, you see that? Oh, like
yeah,
everyone's doing it, you know?
yeah,
Oh, like that sucks. No, it doesn't. Like this is gonna be the new thing. Blah blah blah."
yeah,
I think it's like in the finest of the fit. I think is what it's called. So like a bunch of companies are starting to like level out, like who's the weakest of them all, and then it's gonna start going like sideshow, whoever, it's going
yeah.
to remain on top, and then the other ones are going to start trickling down, slowing down a lot.
Hmm.
The only example of that I have right now is Queen Studios. We have guys that collect half scale,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, those guys got the news of Queen Studios is going to pause on half scale, and they're going to start going to 1/3. So the half scale guys are like, "What the heck, man? I just started
Right,
collecting like three of these guys, and now you're telling me you don't want to complete the line because not
right.
enough people are interested." So I
Yeah,
think,
that's a bummer.
yeah, but it's like it's survival of the fittest. Like I think
Mhm.
companies are either going to start merging, or I feel companies are going to start like either slowing down a lot. But as far as for collectors, man, collectors are are reaping the benefits. I think everything in the aftermarket is selling for cheap. Statue companies are starting to like hear us more. I think because you complain about one statue, they
Yeah.
don't like listen to what the community says. It's like, well, we're going to go to another company. You know, we have a little bit more power or leverage there, not as much as I think we as I think we should, but I think collectors are going to start noticing the shift pretty soon to like, you know, only the only the strong will live this out because we're definitely going through a financial crisis right now. Well, financial situation right now. Everybody is. There's no
Yeah.
one like
Yeah.
exempt from it. Yeah.
So that's what kind of scares me about Tweeterhead, right?
Mm.
I'm a fan of the company. I really like what they're doing, and I mean, I guess they've been around longer than I'm probably giving them credit for. But they're a smaller company, right? So I wonder, I mean, how long can they hang on being such a small company when you know, you have certain companies that are just much stronger and can really dominate the airwaves, can dominate social media, can dominate,
Yeah.
um, I mean, everything, right? Can dominate YouTube when it comes to the advertising and putting their product out in front of people. They have
Mm.
more people to actually do that work, right? If you have a small company, you may not have 20 people who can all run social media or who can all do advertising, right? A larger company, they may have more people who can.
Yeah.
So with less advertising, most likely there's less sales, right? Less sales. I mean, how do you hang on? So yeah, that and again, I guess there's pros and cons to it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Not that I would ever want a company to go out of business at all, right? I would hate to see that. But that also I think creates rarity. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can if that company is no longer making things, then whatever they have made should have that much more, I guess, value to it because nothing else is really following that. I don't know,
What's
man.
your what's your thoughts on Sideshow's Poison Ivy that recently got announced and sold out? I think it was an edition size of 350. Do you think that's good news for Sideshow? Do you think that's good news for collectors, or do you think that's things to come, like lower edition sizes for the new statues?
I think it was good news for collectors
Mm.
because you got a very low edition size. You have a very rare piece. Um, I think it's good and bad for sideshow. I think the good for sideshow is it's sold out, right?
Yeah.
You don't have it sitting in a warehouse or sitting in production phase. But the bad of that is you also sold a lot less pieces than you probably normally sell. So
Mm.
while it's sold out and you don't have a warehouse full, you still made less money on a product, right? Um, do I think it's a sign of things to come? I do, and I hope that the edition sizes stay small, just maybe not that small.
Yeah.
Maybe 500, uh, maybe 250, 300 for an exclusive, and then another 500 for the collector edition. Um, I'm actually a big fan of no collector, no exclusive. I like the idea of one statue, multiple switch outs. This is the price. This is the edition size. That's it. You know what I mean? So that way there isn't all of the other
Additions.
confusion of and
Yeah.
then the variants, right? I don't mind a variant, but if you're gonna do a variant, announce the variant at the same time you announce the original. I mean, that's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah. I was thinking more for like the sideshow side. Like it's
Mm.
good news, bad news is good news, good news is good news. But like it's definitely it brought attention to sideshows. So that like
That
the
helped.
yeah, it helped. It definitely helped. But then like having every other piece be 350, it's like they're barely making profit. I'm sure, you know.
Right. Right.
So in the long term, it's gonna hurt them, but short term, it's good because now it has all the attention. And that Penguin came out, the Wonder Woman came out. There's
Mhm.
more eyes on that, right?
Right.
So maybe yeah, I would say keep the edition size to like under 500, and then you want your stuff to sell out, man. Like
Right. You want it to sell out.
yeah,
So what's interesting, and you brought up that penguin. What's interesting about that is they still haven't announced the edition size, right?
mm,
So a lot of people were under the impression that since that penguin followed that poison ivy, the edition size would be really low. But taking into consideration what you just said, if that was the marketing, right, to get the eyes on the next set of statues coming out, maybe the penguin doesn't have to be such a low edition size because the eyes are already on it, right?
mm,
The marketing is there. So maybe I don't maybe it's not 1,500, but maybe it can still be 1,000. You
yeah.
know, it may not be as low as the poison ivy.
I hope so. Like, yeah, like that's kind of weird to me too because as soon as that got announced, like we were expecting the edition size a week later, 2 weeks later,
Hmm.
but nothing. So it's a good move too on their part. It's like now like we're talking about it right now, and that thing got released like two months ago or 1 month ago or something. So
I wonder what the
it's
pre-orders look like,
yeah, there's
and,
that
and
too.
and if they're happy with the pre-orders.
That's another good thing. Or another thing I wanted to ask you with Iron Studios. Do you ever pre-order anything for 1/10 or 1/6?
Oh
Anything
yeah, I do.
you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, most recently, the Battle of New York Hawkeye, the Battle of New York Thor. I pre-ordered those.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys that I know of, like they're not pre-ordering anymore
Hmm.
because like for quarter scale, it's like minimum now is like 600 to like goes from 600 to like 1,800 bucks for a quarter scale now.
Yeah.
So people like are saying there's no incentive to pre-ordering with this much amount, this big amount of money. That's a lot of money, man. 600 bucks, 1,800 bucks is a lot of
Right.
money. But like people are saying there's no incentive, and then like as soon as Sideshow releases something, you could find it on Sideshow Seconds. It's like, why pre-order something when it's going to be on
Exactly.
Seconds, or someone's going to sell it like a month later. They don't like
Exactly.
it,
That's true.
so it's
And for me, it's that value piece again, where
yeah,
if it's not selling out, then there's, like you said, there's no incentive for me to pre-order.
mm,
When I first got into it, and again, there's like only 2 years ago, people were still pre-ordering, right, left and
yeah,
right,
yeah, yeah.
but statues were selling out 9 months in advance. So you had to pre-order if you wanted that statue. You had to pre-order it. It's not like that now. I mean, there's
No,
pieces that are still sitting there months and months and months after. Yep. So I think lowering the edition size will drive the demand. I think adjusting those prices too. I mean, it has to be a reasonable price. You know, I do understand that the economy is the way it is right now, but the economy is that way for everybody, right? So if everybody's affected, that means you're selling less. You don't raise the prices. You're selling less. That means people are spending less. So they may not have as much to spend now, right?
mm,
So I mean, if you want to keep customers, I think you have to adjust your price, not just the edition size.
yeah, I could see
Now,
that.
can they afford to do it? I don't. I mean, again, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on what the production cost is, but I understand shipping costs, is high across the board. But let's be honest, man. Usually, manufacturing something is nowhere close to what the retail price is, right?
Yeah, they gotta keep
and
those
that's
profit
where
margins
right,
high. So yeah,
exactly, exactly.
yeah,
So I mean, where's that profit margin? You know,
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, it's interesting to hear, especially from 1/10, because we always think you guys have it the best because you guys have everything. You know, anything you guys want, like Harry Potter, Batman, you guys have everything.
yeah,
But you guys are in the same boat as us, like, or at least larger scales. It's like there's a lot out there, but man, that's too much out there. You know?
yeah, and like you said, when it comes to the 1/10, they look really good when you have multiple, right?
Mm,
Like you said, oh, but it looks good. You know, it's like you have a scene going on. It's like a diorama. But if it was just 1/10 sitting there, it's not as eye catching,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So one example would be the Ninja Turtles line that's coming out, right? It's not you can get the four turtles, but at $210 a pop, I mean, you still was $800, right?
yeah.
For just
All
for the
four.
four turtles. But there are 11 pieces in that line. So I mean, when it's all said and done, $2,500 line, you know, for me, I think now I'm starting to look at it from that perspective of yes, I was able to get more. That money went further, but maybe now it's better to put that into one piece and just have a really, really, really nice piece.
Yeah,
Instead
quality
of-
over quantity thing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I don't think I would ever stop collecting the 1/10s. There's something about like the dioramas that's really cool. Um, I mean, and you can do so much with the display of them. Like you can create battle scenes or whatever you want to do with them, right? You can do it. Um, but that quality, yeah, that quality is something that is really making the wheels turn for me.
Yeah. Yeah, man. As soon as have you ever had a quarter scale or 1/3 yet, or
Well, yeah. So I had the Ninja Turtles
a quarter? That's right. That's right. That's
from
right.
PCS. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I guess like really quick for me, what I hate about most of this hobby, the thing
Uh-huh.
I you know they always say hate is a strong word, but
Yeah.
I'll use it for this thing because I hate boxes. I have a room dedicated to all these boxes, and it annoys me, man.
Yeah.
It annoys me too. People say like, well, if you're never going to sell your collection, like just get rid of them, right? I'm like, but what if I move? What if like something
Exactly.
happens where like
Right.
some life something something comes up,
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to like if I were to like sell this Superman Batman without a box, people are gonna give me what, $200, $300
Right.
because they want the box.
Right.
So
And
I
it's
hate
better if you
boxes.
have that's that like those ground rules that you talked about earlier, right? That was some of the stuff I picked up on earlier.
Hmm.
You can say you'll never sell it, but you never know.
Yeah,
Everybody says they'll never sell something and then they end up selling it, right? So you want to keep not only the art box, but you want to try to keep the shipper box because people want it to come as if they ordered it directly from Sideshow or directly from Prime One. They want that original, authentic. Uh,
people want I want man. I shoot. I want like
yeah,
from day one.
yeah,
how it came in. So that's
yeah,
it's understandable. But like
yeah.
I hate the boxes. How about you? Like, what's something that you do not like about the hobby?
That I don't know.
Black ice? Is that what you said? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Man, I don't know. I don't think I've really come across anything that I just hate about it. Um,
Gotcha, gotcha. That's
nah, I
good,
mean,
man. That's good. Hate is not good in your heart. A lot of us have that hate in our.
I mean, it used to be that pieces will sell out so fast.
That's what you didn't like.
Yeah, and now, I mean, it's not that. I mean, not hate, but one of the things I dislike is the crazy edition sizes,
Yeah.
and I get well, we're trying to give everybody an opportunity to get them, right?
Mhm.
And we're selling worldwide. I'm sorry. the whole world is not collecting statues.
Yeah.
There's a large community of statue collectors, yes, but there are how many people on this planet? The majority of people are not collecting statues. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest.
Mm.
So for us, in order for us to really feel like our collection has that value that we wanted to have, that we pay for, and we put the interest in, we want them to sell out. I mean, or we don't want every single person to have it. Like, how
Yeah.
rare is my collection if you have every statue that I have in my collection?
Yeah.
You know what I
Like
mean? Why do you want to see my collection if you already have it?
yeah, some people consider them a collectible, especially when they sell out, you know? It's a whole different type of collectible. Now it's like a limited edition
Right,
collectible. Like you can't get this anymore. It's here
right,
though, you know, it's behind me or in front of me, whatever.
right.
But it's but you had a question come up on the chat from Mad Jackal, it looks like.
Mm. Any interest in the new Cyclops Unleashed? I think that's an awesome piece. Yes, I am. I'm interested in it for sure. But when I collect, I always look at, like I was saying earlier, I look at lines. So my question is, what's to follow? Um, I'm sure they'll do more. I'm just curious how many more X-Men characters will they do in the Unleashed line. Now we could always say, well, you could always just collect Unleashed characters, right? Just say you have an Unleashed line. Yeah, but I think there's something to having characters that actually go together. Like they did the Trinity. Before they announced the Wonder Woman,
Yeah.
I was one of those people who was questioning, okay, you announced Superman, you announced the Batman Unleashed, or you gonna do a Wonder Woman? And then they had Thor, right? They had a
Yeah.
Thor Unleashed. We haven't seen any more Avengers in the Unleashed line. There was somebody else from Unleashed too. It was Batman, Superman, then Wonder Woman. Am I missing somebody?
Is Batman maybe? I didn't get to see that line yet.
It's Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Thor, and then Cyclops.
Somebody in the chat probably knows. Watch, somebody's gonna pop up.
I think
Is
I
it?
think that might be it. So I'm just curious. But yeah, Matt Jackal, to answer your question, yes, I am. I'm interested in it.
Yeah. So I don't know too much about the 1/10th world, but like I'm part of a bunch of like quarter scale groups, third scale groups, you know?
Mhm.
How on Facebook, like how's the 1/10th world when it comes to groups? Do you guys have like a large gathering or a huge community?
So multiple answers to that question. I'm still new to
Mm.
the point where, like, I'm collecting a lot, and I've been collecting for a while, but I'm still new to like joining groups.
Oh, okay, okay.
Another thing, I'm probably more active amongst people like on YouTube. I'm not a huge fan of Facebook,
Yeah.
just like the site in general. Um, I don't know. It To me, Facebook was always difficult to maneuver or just to navigate through Facebook. I don't know
Mm.
what it was. There's so much going on Facebook. I tend to like Instagram a little bit better. I mean,
Yeah.
just the platform itself. Um, while I do think Facebook offers a lot more, I just, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know
Uh,
what it is about Facebook. I just don't.
it's for the old timers, right?
And I've joined groups, right? Like I've joined a couple groups, but I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. So even while I'm a part of the group, I'm not actively engaged. So
It's funny you say that because like that's 99% of my Facebook now is statue groups, family. It's always back like family, friends. It's always about the news, and I'm just like,
yeah,
skip it, skip it, skip it. It's just
yeah,
all statues now.
yeah.
But yeah, I use Facebook more than Instagram, whatever other social media,
Mhm.
because that's where I've met a lot of the guys. Like they either want to jump on the panel or they
Yeah.
want to talk about some stuff. And
So I need and I need to do a better job then, because if I mean if that's where the majority of the community mingle, hang out, share, I need to go where the community is, and definitely not expect the community to come to me. I need to go to where things are
yeah,
happening. So
yeah, 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 man.
I mean,
Because like,
YouTube has been awesome though. I've learned so much from collectors, but again, it's not as social, right?
get
Like on
away.
Facebook, you can
Yeah,
actually communicate with people. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
A little bit good, a little bit bad, but yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned earlier. So you were saying how did you say this? You were saying still new, right? Um, like they're innocent. That's the word you used. You said still innocent.
Mhm.
So what is it about collecting? Is there something that you've seen or witnessed that you're not crazy about? Like, but I know
Well,
you say you hate the boxes, but just in general, is there something?
yeah, like you're going from new collector to like OG collector or whatever. You start
Yeah.
that. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's good and bad when you start joining those groups,
Hmm.
because what I've noticed in a bunch of the Facebook groups is like people start segregating themselves. Like they
Oh.
start putting themselves in circles. I mean, it's
Hmm.
common. Like, I mean, you make your friends,
Yeah.
you develop that circle. But what I've noticed on a bunch of, well, some groups, I wouldn't say a bunch, is they
Hmm.
start segregating themselves. Like, I feel like they're either elitist or they're
Hmm.
like, we're older collectors. So, you new
Oh.
collectors, you still got a lot to learn. For it's
Yeah.
weird, it's kind of like
Yeah.
we're back in high school or something. It's like
Yeah.
my mindset has always been like, I want my circle open to everybody,
Yeah.
anybody, that's everyone's welcome. Just don't bring any like bad stuff to it.
Yeah.
But it's, the more ideas the better, I think.
Yeah.
There is that. There are those groups, but
Yeah.
there, like I said, there's those groups that it's hard to get into. You have this whole mindset that you want to be part of this group, but
Yeah.
once you're in that group, you're like, oh man, these guys just stick to themselves. Like, it's not, there's
Yeah.
no, yeah, there's no, they're not open to ideas. They're whatever,
Yeah.
There's that. But like I said, innocent to you earlier, just
Yeah.
because like all these ideas are your ideas. You
Mm.
haven't been like tainted by anybody's ideas. You haven't been like influenced as much, I think, as a lot of us have been. And it's
Mm.
just like for you, like I guess a really quick question for you is, would you, in order to have these these statues behind you, comic book based statues, do you think you need to know the whole history, comic book wise, about the character, or can you just like the character?
Man, it's awesome that you asked me that question. Because
Yeah.
guess what? And this may turn some people off. This
Mm.
may, I hope it doesn't, but this may surprise some people. I didn't grow up as a comic book reader.
Yeah.
That's not, I like the characters because I like the characters,
Mm.
right? Um, what's funny is the Avengers line, I tend to like the movie characters more than the comic book because I was
Yeah.
introduced to the characters from the movies, right?
Mm.
My Iron Man is Robert Downey. That's who
Yeah.
Iron Man for me, right? So other people will feel like, no, that's not authentic. That's not directly from the comics. I don't honestly, I don't care. I don't.
Yeah. It's whatever you
I
like,
don't.
right?
Yeah, I don't care about that. Now I do like some comic book stuff as I learn more as I grow, and see that's something we talked about earlier, right? I'm going into it with that open mind
Mm-hmm.
of movie, comic book. It's all good, but as I'm learning more, there were times when I questioned, well, am I wrong because I like the movie stuff better than the comic book? Because everybody else is saying, no, the comic book is where it's at. The
Yeah.
comic book is, this is how the characters should look. So in some ways, I may be slightly tainted by it, but not enough to where I've lost like my original opinions on it.
Yeah, yeah, I
You know
hear
what I
you.
mean?
Yeah,
But though I see those influences, yes, I do. I see them, but I've stood firm on, yeah, but that's how I know them, and
yeah, yeah,
that's how I was pulled into this. If I didn't love the Avengers movies, I probably wouldn't have those Avengers statues.
yeah, yep.
You know what I mean? I most likely I wouldn't have those. So
Okay. Yeah, that was one thing. Like, one thing that's been brought up a lot of times is like, well, you have the character. Like, why don't you know enough about the character? And I was like, I've read a bunch of Superman. I've read a bunch of Batman, but I'm never gonna know all of it. And like, I
and
already
why do I
have.
need to?
But
Honestly, what I
yeah, I
think it's
understand.
fun if we can have a conversation and somebody tells me, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like tell me what I don't know. I already love the
yeah,
character, but tell me something that would make me love the character even more.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
That discussion is like will be
Yeah.
awesome to have, other than just push them away or something like that. Movie stuff is new to me too, because like I do like the movie stuff,
Hmm.
a lot, but like I know the comics more than the movies, but I do enjoy the movies as much. But like movie stuff is new to me, so I don't have any movie pieces back here, but I
Well, you're
definitely.
you're you're Aquaman.
Oh yeah, Jason Momoa,
Yeah.
yeah,
So and
yeah.
so when I saw that again, I had the same question, right? I saw all comic book, and I was like, but he got the movie version. I was like, I wonder why, because I love the movie version. I think that version is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
But I was one like, what made you get that one instead of trying to find a comic book version?
So the simple answer is like there's not a really good one third Aquaman because he's not a popular character, right?
Right.
And right now the popular character of Aquaman is Jason Momoa. So I was
Hmm.
like, hey man, like he looks good. I think he looks good. And he's probably not the like blonde hair, blue eyed from the comic book,
Yeah.
but I got him for like the character, Aquaman.
Right.
Like
Right.
I'm not looking at Jason Momoa's facing like completely. I'm not gonna not collect it because it's just Jason Momoa. Like it doesn't really bother me that much.
Yeah.
But if there was like what's if it was what's that guy's name who played Batman and Two Face? Oh man, what's that guy's name? Have you seen the movie Dust Till Dawn?
Dust till dawn. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's George Clooney? If there
Oh
was a
yeah.
George
Yeah.
Clooney
Yeah.
Batman, he's out
Yeah.
of here, man.
Yeah. People don't
So
like they don't like the George
I don't
Clooney.
like him. I don't like
Oh, okay.
him.
I,
Yeah.
I honestly I like all of them. I
You
like,
like all of them?
and I guess because I didn't know any better. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I was just watching the movies. Like I love the Keaton Batman. I love the Val Kilmer. I love it. That's his name, right? Val Kilmer.
Yeah, Val Kilmer. Yep.
I'm not crazy about the new one.
The Ben Affleck
The
or
no, no, I like Ben Affleck. The
oh Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
To me, Pattinson would have done better as a villain, in my
Oh
opinion.
wow. Yeah.
He has this really kind of dark look about him. He has this really like gloomy expression.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Mm,
He doesn't have a very like fierce expression. Like even when he's mad, he doesn't really look mad to me.
mm.
So I honestly, to me, he's my least favorite Batman. To be honest with
That's not a bad thing too, man. Like
you.
yeah. But what's up, Dwayne? Like Dwayne Davis just
What's
showed
that,
up
I'm
at some.
doing?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, man, like I'm still learning. Like I said, I'm still a new collector. Like movie stuff. Maybe I switch to movie stuff 2 years from now. You never know. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
that Aquaman is nice, man. I like that Aquaman.
It's funny because I had an Aquaman in quarter scale from Sideshow, and I
Okay.
loved it. Yeah, I thought they nailed that one. But
Yeah.
when I started selling all my stuff, I was like, I need an Aquaman now for one third, and that one came up, and I had to pick them up.
So there's the Aquaman from Tweeterhead, right?
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
announced that one. and that's straight from the comic books. And I would assume that people love that one. I like I like the one that you have behind you better,
Yeah.
and not just because it's a 1/3. I mean, even if that was a 1/6, to me
Yeah.
that one just looks better.
Mm. I see what you're saying. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, honestly, it doesn't really matter, movie or movie or comic book. If it was X-Men, I probably would not go movie. I like the animated. So
Yeah.
I like these. I don't think they're comic book. I think these are from the animated series,
Mm.
right? So sometimes the TV show is better to me than the movie or than the comic book. Like the Ninja Turtle stuff, the ones that I have, straight from the animated series. So it just
That's
depends.
that's interesting, man. Because like, it's like what you grew up with, right? Is like
It is.
what you want to collect.
Yep.
When yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm not, and that may be a rarity, that I'm not like a diehard comic book fan. Like comic books didn't get me into collecting,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. Now
Mm.
maybe, but now I've read comic books. I mean, I'm not like oblivious to comic books. There were certain ones that I read as a kid, but I wasn't like a huge fan of comic books. I never collected comic books. Actually, I collected baseball, football, basketball cards. I was into stuff like that. I collected. Remember Pogs?
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
go.
I
Yeah.
collected Pogs. I had stuff like that. Um, I didn't collect Pokemon cards because I think that was like the generation after me that did like
Mm.
you know. And I have younger cousins that collected Pokemon cards. I never got into them, but yeah. I mean, I guess I've always collected, and that's always something that's interesting too. Things that we did as a kid eventually come back up, right?
Yeah,
So
because we're definitely further in our lives, and now we could finally afford this kind of stuff, and we're
yeah,
trying to spoil ourselves and just remember the good times
yeah.
through these things.
And I never knew about statues. I
Yeah.
I had no idea, honestly, no idea at all. Love the movies, love animated series, stuff like that. I didn't have a clue about statues, and to be honest, when I was first introduced to it, I think I was in a conversation talking about investments or something, and like just what to do with money, honestly, and it turned into a conversation about art, and then there was like, well, you like you like um Avengers, you like Marvel, you like have you ever even seen these? And you talk about like investing in art. Have you ever thought about investing in statues? I was like, no, I don't know where to find statues. I didn't know any of that, right?
Hmm.
So I mean, the more I learned, man, it was very eye opening that there's a whole world of statue collecting. I didn't know. I had no idea.
If you were to go back to that one time, like where you just mentioned that one time where you got that investment information or that talk,
Mm.
and look back at Cool Game Collectibles before he's Cool Game Collectibles and go like, "Hey man, what would you tell him right there?" Would like, you're gonna have fun, enjoy it, or would you be like, "Don't do it, don't do it." Like, get it. It's a. What would you tell that guy?
Definitely have fun, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't and I've had to kind of reprogram my own thinking, right? Because initially it was strictly buy the rarest items with the lowest ES so you can possibly flip them when you feel like you're ready to, right?
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
And that was it. It literally was investment. Like think about now, don't
Yeah.
get off them too quick. Like you might have to hold them for 5 years or so.
Mm,
So it should be something that you don't mind having in your collection. But at the end of the day, most likely you're gonna flip this, right?
yeah.
Now maybe you're flipping it to get another statue. Maybe you're flipping it to get two statues. Maybe you're flipping it to do something around the house. Who knows, right? But the bottom line is, at some point, you're gonna flip it. The deeper I got into it,
The mindset
the
changed. Yeah.
mindset changed to man, I just love walking in the room and seeing them. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
hey man, like there's something about the display. There's something about just walking in and hanging out in the room and just looking at them for a minute. Yeah, it changed. It's definitely. I mean, that investment thing is kind of still in the back of my mind, and that's why I always talk about value and low edition sizes. But at the end of the day, I like everything that I have in my collection.
Yeah, that's good.
You know,
Yeah. That's cool, man.
before I think I would have bought something I didn't like and held it to try to flip it. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good, man.
So definitely have fun, man. Definitely have fun. Have fun with the hobby, man. And that also, when that mindset changed, my I don't want to say willingness, but my interest in just getting to know other people in the hobby developed. That's where that came in. It was like, oh no, I really like this. So I want to talk to other people who like doing this and figure out, well, why do you collect what you collect? Why do you that interest came from my passion just for having the statues. You know?
I
So
remember my first statue was a Bowen Juggernaut. It's a 1/6 Juggernaut.
yeah,
And I was like, man, nobody has this thing. Like, God, like
yeah,
I paid good money for this thing. This is going to be mine. One and
yeah,
done. Then I went on YouTube and I was like looking it up.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, these bastards have it. Yeah, like everyone has this thing.
Everybody had it.
But then I was like, I listened to some conversations and I was like, oh, like I didn't think about that. I didn't know this came from there. I
Yeah,
didn't know there was more of them. I didn't know like all this stuff.
yeah,
So I was like a sponge trying to learn a ton of stuff. And then I was like, man, this sounds like a hobby. Like I
yeah,
thought this would be because $400 for one piece of stone, it
yeah,
sounds like it's a lot of money, man. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
and I was like people can't afford this stuff. People can't
Right.
like, I don't even know why I bought it. Like I saw it at a comic book store. And I was like, I love the art. Like you were mentioning earlier before,
Yeah.
like I fell in love with the art, like Juggernaut just holding the stone and everything. It's signed by Stan Lee too. So I was like,
Oh,
I
that's cool.
have to get this thing.
Yeah,
But then, like I said, like I was YouTube, and then I found other people from the community, and I started talking to them, and here
yeah,
we are, like 3 years later, freaking YouTube channel, big ass statues behind you, and like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's awesome though, man. It's awesome to see people's journey and hear people's journey. And what's ironic is, or not ironic, I mean, it's almost a norm. We all kind of started in that similar place of, like, not necessarily why we started collecting,
mm,
but we started off in a similar place of just trying to absorb as much information as we can, right? You become like a student of the hobby, and before you know it, like you said, it evolves into having a collection. It's not just one statue that you found or you like. Um, you're watching other people's channels, you're watching other people's unboxings. Then all of a sudden, you start doing your own, and then now you have your own channel. And 2 years ago, I didn't know if I would have my own channel. Like I wasn't
yeah,
thinking about that kind of stuff. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
I thought it was cool, but I didn't think I would have my own. And then the more I watched unboxings, I thought that was cool, and I felt like, but I would like to do an unboxing. I would like to just see what that's like to unbox. But like you said, that first statue that you had, you felt like it was a one and done. Nobody else had it, right?
nobody, yeah,
So if you did an unboxing for it, you would have felt like I'm revealing this to the world, right?
yeah, yeah,
So with some of the unboxings now, initially I felt like that, right? I want to be the person that reveals this. But if you don't get it fast enough, somebody's gonna beat you to the punch and do the unboxing, and then you have 12 videos of the same unboxing, and it's not bad because you can always give your take, your perspective on it.
of course, yeah,
But there is something about being the only person or that one person who has this to,
Yeah, to bring it out to
yeah,
everybody. Like,
yeah,
it's not like you want to be selfish or anything. It's like more you want to like show it to people and like how you enjoy it, right? Like
yeah,
it's, and you guys are soon going to enjoy this with me because you guys are going to have that part of your collection too. So
yeah,
it's a little bit of that too.
yeah. Yes, sir. Well, let me see, man. Let me check my. I had some notes. I wanted to make sure that I covered everything that I wrote down.
You're good.
Okay, so we may have covered this somewhere in the conversation, but just to kind of touch base on this again, what's the largest scale statue in your collection? What's the smallest scale statue in your collection?
So it would be those guys. This guy right here, the Superman, is
Hmm.
1/3, and the smallest is 1/6. So yeah, 1/6. So it'd be this guy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It goes from there to, but honestly, like my thing too is I like this. There, I have like the full scale one, the 1/6 one. I
Mhm.
like it. I enjoy it as much as the big guys. Like honestly, when I look at them and put them all together, I'm like,
Yeah,
that looks good. You know, like
yeah,
there's a little story behind each one of them too. So I definitely like them all.
yeah. Which is that's awesome. That's awesome.
Mm.
I agree. Same thing.
So what about you? What's your smallest? What's your biggest?
One tenth, and then the 1/6 for now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're content with that, right? You're happy with all that stuff, right?
I am. Yeah, very.
Yeah.
But I do want someone. I don't know if I'm actually gonna do it, but there are some 1/3s that I'm very interested in, and then there's definitely some quarter scale and premium format stuff that I'm interested in.
You see
So
black guys with that saget behind them, like half scale.
that's
Like
awesome.
man, yeah, it's awesome.
Awesome.
My God, dude, that's huge, man.
Awesome. It is. It is.
Yeah.
So like that Batman Batcave.
Yeah.
I'm one
Yeah.
of the people who I know a lot of third scale collectors are not very happy about them doing the quarter scale version of it. I'm one of those people who's very happy about it because
You get your
I
chance.
love that statue, but
Hmm.
I don't know if I would have ever gotten it in 1/3. I just feel like those statues are huge.
They are, man. Like no one, no nothing preps you for those things. How big they are.
Yeah.
The base by itself takes that whole bookshelf behind you, so it's
Yeah, see, that's crazy. That's I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah, man. I don't know. Maybe at some point, maybe the Bat Cave, if there was one that was gonna do it, that Bat Cave one pushed me, and then it sold out, so that saved me from myself.
Mhm.
Um, you know, once it was sold out, I wasn't as bothered by it. Now that it's coming on a quarter scale, I'll probably get it. I'll probably get that one. Another one that I'm intrigued by is the blade
Oh, the 1/3
from
PCS one.
PCS. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, the museum pose. That one is nice, very nice.
The same guy I always talk about, Rashid. He was an
Mhm.
advocate for that one. He's been calling out for that one for like years, I would say, and he's
Wow.
finally getting it. He's getting both, like the dynamic one and then the
Yeah.
museum pose one. But one question I had, like you're looking at it from like a whole different perspective. So why do
Mhm.
you think that one didn't sell out yet? Like that one had a low edition size too.
Why don't I think it's sold out yet?
Mm.
Ooh, that's a good question. Um,
It looks badass, right? It looks good. It's
I think
like
it's awesome. To
yeah.
be honest, I think just timing maybe. I think that same statue, if it would have came out a year ago, it probably would have sold out.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think just the way things are, people aren't as willing to spend 1,300 on a statue. And like as I'm talking to you, you know what another thought is? What does it connect to in the world right now? There's no
Yeah.
Blade movie. There's no Blade animated series, right? There's no Blade video game. So what is the connection to help drive interest in that statue?
No one brought that up when I asked that question to the guys. No one brought that up. There's that connection part. I
Yeah,
think we're thinking more like it's such a badass piece. Like it's it should have sold out, but there is no
yeah.
connection to it. Like it's from the video game line supposedly, but no one
Oh,
mentions like it's from the video game line. But
yeah.
that's interesting.
Yep. So and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how most collectors develop an interest in a statue. You know what I mean? If it's strictly from the statue, like I said, for a lot of my stuff, it was because I liked the movie. You know, if there was no Avengers movie, I don't have those statues. You know,
Yeah.
I don't even know if they would make them, but if they made those same statues, um, and there's no movie, or the movie came out after the statues, I don't know if those statues do as well, or
Or if the movie didn't wasn't doing well, or if you didn't like the movie, right?
right, which is
Yeah.
very interesting because
Mm.
we have the Flash movie, right? I thought that movie would have done a lot better than it did. I haven't seen it yet. I do plan on seeing it, but I wonder how the impact of that movie is going to affect the statues from Iron Studios, because I'm not a huge fan of either of the Flash pieces. It's something about the costume. I'm just not crazy about it. I'm not a huge Flash fan either. I mean, I like Flash, but I'm not like a diehard Flash fan.
Mm.
So I could either do with it or do without, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, you don't have that
I was
connection to it.
thinking about getting it, but I don't like the design of it. Now they released the '89 Batman and the Batmobile in the Batcave. I think that's fire. And again, I haven't seen the movie. I don't know if the impact of the movie or the sales of the movie will impact that piece, but that piece is fire.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, even not seeing the movie, it looks badass,
it
right?
does. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens with those. Um, Another example of that is the Justice League. Uh, One of the things Black Ice and I talk about all the time is uh, the Justice League line. They did Black Suit Superman, they did Wonder Woman, they did Darkseid, they did Steppenwolf, they did Nightmare Batman, and then they have Batman on Bat Signal. They didn't do Cyborg, they didn't do Flash. Am I missing anybody?
Did they
They
do
didn't do
Aquaman?
Aquaman.
They didn't do Aquaman.
No, they did Aquaman from the Aquaman movie, from the first movie and the second movie, but the second movie never came out.
Yeah.
So there's just that awkwardness, right? You have a Aquaman 2 movie with no Aquaman 2 movie. So yeah, I really wish they would have made the movie pieces to go along with that line.
Yeah.
But I also know the movies didn't do as well as they thought they would have done. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess the Superman movies didn't do as well. I was a bit surprised. I don't honestly DC confuses me, to be honest with you. I thought Black Adam I thought was a good movie, right? Now I don't know comic book. I'm strictly going based off of the
Movie.
movie itself, right? I don't
Okay.
have any backstory or any of that to say this wasn't done well, this wasn't done well. As a movie, I thought it was a great movie. So I would think the Iron Studios, Hawkman, and is it Hawkman? Yeah, Hawkman and the Black Adam statue would sell out. They did, but I don't know if it's because the movie was good or because the statues are just so good. You
Oh
know what I
yeah.
mean? I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a weird one too because they're not gonna make any more of that movie. That movie's one and done
Right,
now. Yeah,
right.
that's kind of weird.
It
Because
is. I thought it was a successful movie, but I also heard if it didn't do $1 billion in box office, that they wouldn't do a part two, or because it didn't do $1 billion, that's why they aren't doing this. I mean, really, is that the margin of success? A billion, it has to make $1 billion in order for you to make a second one.
That's how I gauge success.
A
$1 billion.
billion.
If it's not on my bank account, I'm out.
So I mean, I always thought it was if you made a profit, right? If you spent 300 million on the movie and it made 600 million, okay, that was a pretty successful movie, right? I mean, let's
Hmm.
let's get the second one going. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I really thought they should have, and I understand whatever the dilemma was with uh Henry Cavill
Hmm.
for the Superman character. I don't think he was the best Superman, but I think it worked.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I think we grew to accept him as Superman now. So to change it now just kind of further confuses things.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
could see that. Like it should have like at least they should have walked him out of here. They're just
Right,
literally just they're pushing him out of the way now to get another actor in the
right.
same position.
And why reveal him or reintroduce him at the end of Black Adam just to come right back and say no?
Yeah.
Like you built an excitement and then killed it. Like, I don't understand.
It's funny that we're talking about movies because like I do also I'm a movie buff too, but
Mm,
there's like other communities out there where they discuss the same thing we're talking about,
yeah,
but they're more passionate about it. They're like more
mm,
like they know more about it, and
yeah,
they don't even know what's going on.
yeah.
So
There you go.
it tells you something right there.
And I understand because I mean I have some family members who actually work in the industry, and they talk about the writer strike and stuff like that, and all of that does trickle down into which statues get made, which
Hmm.
companies get the license, and it all impacts everything, right?
Yeah,
So because the writers are on strike, movies don't get made, TV shows don't get made, animated series don't get made, statues don't get made.
yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I mean I hope it all works out and we continue to get these amazing statues in every scale. I'm optimistic, but again, that's why I laughed earlier when you said still innocent. Like
yeah,
it's better sometimes to not know, because
yeah, yeah.
the more you know, then it's easier to get frustrated about things,
Yeah,
or
all this stuff too is out of our control, right? Like
yeah,
we act like it's under our control, but it's definitely not. But
yeah,
yeah, man,
yeah.
definitely.
So that's all I had this evening, though, sir. I greatly
No,
appreciate you joining, man. I enjoyed talking with you.
yeah, man, same here, man. I try to watch you guys from whenever you guys go. I don't know if you guys have a set schedule yet, but whenever you guys go on, I either watch you guys live or I watch you guys on the replay. But
Right.
it's awesome to see you guys like do your you guys are doing your thing right now. So you guys are always welcome to join us too. And like we got John, we got Pudgy, we got a bunch of
Yeah,
guys. So
yeah.
I mean, we're on episode 98. It took 98
That's
episodes, 98.
awesome.
It's crazy, 98 weeks to
Yeah,
get all these guys together. And we have arguments from time to time, but it's
yeah,
at the end of the day, we laugh more than
yeah.
like we argue. So yeah, man,
That's awesome, man. Yeah,
yeah,
anytime, man. Anytime, anytime. I'm down to join.
awesome, awesome.
Yep. I mean, I I just love having the conversations about it, man. To be
Yeah,
honest,
yeah,
I didn't know that I would get this deep into statue collecting to where I would have watch parties and all of that kind of stuff. Like I had no idea.
yeah,
So there's her. Yep. Anytime, just let me know. Yep.
yeah, man, definitely.
No problem. And we'll have to get you back on here, man. But, maybe once uh either a new announcement is made for one of these 1/3s. Maybe if Next Level has a part 4. I'm not sure if they're still going to do a part 4 or not. I've heard no, but I know before part 3 they announced a 3 and 4. Not sure if they're still going to do it. So That'll definitely be something to talk about.
Stay tuned, right?
Yeah, yeah. But since you entered that one third world, man, you'll have some stuff to talk to us about in regards
Hmm.
to pieces that you're interested in.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You still
definitely.
plan on adding a few more to your collection?
Yeah, so I'm doing the whole Justice League line here. So I got Aquaman, Superman, Batman, and what's his name, Swamp Thing.
Yeah.
I need to add Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, and whoever whoever's part of the Justice League. I want to add them. So
So are you looking for a Martian Manhunter?
yeah, see that's another one.
Yeah,
They haven't announced one or anything like that.
yeah.
But I got like 5 other statues to collect before he comes out, so I'll be
Okay.
patient.
Um, which Green Lantern are you looking for?
So Prime One did the Hal Jordan Green
Yeah,
Lantern.
yeah,
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking
that
for.
one.
So
Okay.
yeah, I'll be
And then
patient.
who's his counterpart? There's
Um,
the villain.
he's like Yellow Lantern. He's the Sinestro Corps.
Okay.
Sinestro. Yeah,
What's his name? Sinestro.
Sinestro. Yep.
Are you getting him as well,
Eh,
or
no, I
no?
gotta keep them to my
Okay.
rules. Only good guys for this thing. But I would
Right.
love to pair them up together. Man, they look
Yeah,
amazing together. Yeah.
they do. They do. Same thing though. I have some kind of going back into my beginning stages. I only wanted good guys. Like I had this thing about villains. I didn't want any villains, and I don't know why. It's just like I said. I was always fans of superheroes, right? So to
Mm.
me, to get the villain was like going against the superhero. You don't get the villain. Not so. I mean, now it's more like no, get you could pair them up, or you could do a villain line and you can do a superhero line. I mean, uh, being much more open minded about all of it now.
Yeah, man. That's the best part about these streams too. It's like a diary to look back at, like 6 months from now, 3 months from now. You're like, man, I said I was gonna do this, and like,
Yeah,
look, yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah,
I'm
man.
curious. 6 months down the line, I'm wondering how many of those 110 scales I'll still have, because I'm really intrigued with
Mm.
going into like I don't even know how many 1/6, but definitely going back into quarter scale.
We'll find out, man. We got
So
all the
yeah,
time in the world, so yeah, we'll find out.
yes sir. But again, I appreciate it, man. Thank you
Thank you for
taking
having
your
me, man.
time out. Appreciate it.
Yep,
And anytime you want to come back on, man, just let us know.
yep.
And well, I'm sure we'll find something else to talk about.
Every
There's
day.
so many topics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
All right.
See you
Have a
guys.
good one.